A lot of the people in my family are woodworkers and craftsmen and make crafts and things. Uh, Here's a wolf that my grandmother carved. She carved all kinds of stuff, and she was actually kind of a famous wood carver, and she uh, carved a lot of things for churches and religious places and all kinds of really neat statues. Here's a little owl that my grandma carved, and I didn't carve the smiley face on there, but one of my brother's friends did when we were teenagers, and I was like really pissed off. That was almost one of the only times I ever punched somebody. But yeah, so a lot of and here's a butt plug that my brother carved. Um, my brother's does like furniture for businesses and all kinds of just crazy stuff, and like built a canoe and does like woodworking that would just blow your mind. Here's a spoon that my brother made. He just like messes around and makes weird things. I like this spoon because it's long and it's kind of curvy, and so he gave it to me. But I never carved anything until after my grandmother passed away, and I inherited some of her. Sorry, I'm trying to put this spoon back up here. Sit spoon. I'll put it up there later. Anyway, I never carved anything until after my grandmother passed away, and then I started carving these little blocks because I wanted to see if I was any good at it. She gave me some, or I inherited some of her woodworking tools, but I was never any good at them, so I started just using an X-Acto knife. But I used to carve these like children's blocks and make little designs and things out of them. I actually have like a butt ton of them. I've carved hundreds of them. All different designs and stuff. I'll carve like the numbers out of them, or faces in them, all kinds of things. And my designs kind of got more and more like, I don't know, weird or interesting, I guess you'd say, as I started carving more of these blocks. I started carving like mechanisms in them, like so you can move them around. But yeah, and then I started carving some bigger things, like I carved some little boxes, and here's one of my favorite ones that I carved. It's kind of hard to explain. I'd have to open it up. Let's see if I can open it with one hand. It's like a puzzle cube. Ooh, felt something there. Close. But determined. I did it. That's some one-handed madness there. There we go. I'm really determined to show this. I used to carve a ball inside of it, where you could roll a ball around, but this is one where you can kind of flick it open. It's like little gears on the side of it. Anyway, but yeah, so I started carving a little bit too myself, and I'm actually pretty good at it. I carved this creature thing here. I remember that I was working on this for a while. I'll pull it off. I spray painted it when I got done carving it, but it's like this one-eyed creature with like a robot leg, and it's really hard to get up inside and carve out the little pieces and stuff like that. But I gave it to my daughter Sam, because I actually gave up on it and threw it in the trash one night in my studio. I was tired of monkeying with it, and in the morning I came back down to my studio and it was sitting up on the shelf, and I was like, what the heck? I threw that in the garbage. And I looked underneath it and there was a note and it said, don't give up, Dad. So I took it back out and continued carving it. So she gets that. What else did I carve up here? Oh, another thing that I carved over here is I started carving books. So it's kind of fun. You take a book, let me pull this down. Take a book and you carve into it, into the cover, and just go page by page and carve out the pieces that you want, the depth, so that they're so you can, and then when you shut it, the pictures show through. So it's kind of like it's three-dimensional. Takes a long time and you got to go page by page, but turns out looking pretty neat. It's like a three-dimensional book. I have this other one up here. I glued this one together, but because it makes it easier, but just carve into the book. Find the pictures inside that you want to get to. So you kind of have to start backwards. I might carve something else one of these days, but something that you kind of got to sit and get into the zone.